Notts County Talk, instant reaction after Notts have lost 2-1 away at Swindon. Um, Obviously, the game's on a Friday, so it's available to stream on iFollow in the UK. So quite a lot of fans, including myself, did that. Fair play for you, one of the Notts fans that travelled down to Swindon today. Massive respect for you, especially with the form we've been in lately. Um, but I don't really know what to say about that performance. It was absolutely dreadful. It was as bad as it gets, really, from start to finish. If you didn't watch it, I cannot really stress how bad we were. And the two goals you probably have seen online somewhere on social media. If you haven't, normally I don't watch goals back from a defeat, but you have to watch those goals we conceded. The first one it's comical, and the second one, Sam Slocum, just dreadful for that one. Um, it's really hard. Someone said on Thursday to be positive about the. We need to stop being negative and be positive about as positive as you can about the club and the side at the moment. But it's absolutely impossible. It's impossible. 2 wins in 14, and each time we've got those wins, we've gone on to lose the next game or the next two games. So it's not even like we can build on anything. Um, we looked so lethargic, so poor for the whole of the first half. This is a Swindon side that were tweeting Notts fans saying we'll definitely beat them because their defence is so poor, and we didn't make them work until right at the end of the game. When Jatta comes on, I'll get on to Jatta and not starting in a second, but we did nothing in that first half. We didn't look bothered. Um, Maynard still sat on the bench as the players were walking off to go in at half time. And that first half, I thought to myself, for the first time, and I might be wrong, but for the first time, these players didn't look like they were playing for him. And that was sort of my final straw as to I'll keep him till the end of the season. I want him to stay to the end of the season unless the players clearly stop playing for him. And did it look like that today? Let me know what you think in the comments. But to me, it definitely looked like they weren't playing for him today, and it looked like they're completely giving up on the season. Um, and it's inexcusable. I don't care if there's nothing to play for. With 15 games to go, you still have to play. You still have to play. And I think once a manager loses the dressing room, if he has lost the dressing room that first half suggested, then there's no way back. There's no way back. Second half, we started a little bit better, but it is too late at that point. Um, and then the goal they score, Slocum outside his area tries to loft it over on a terrible pitch in very windy conditions. Tries to loft it over their players and put it into space and just kicks it straight at them, in which they lob him from the edge of the area. The two easiest goals they're ever going to score, the two biggest gifts they've ever got. Their fans must be laughing going home. They were laughing every time Slocum got the ball after the goal, and then Jota comes on with just over 10 minutes to go. Players can make individual mistakes, but the player that's just scored two at Bradford and started to get fans back on side is left on the bench till nearly 15 minutes to go. And then what happens when he comes on? We start to gain another foothold in the game and we get a goal. And then he has another opportunity that he can't quite get the shot away to actually make the game 2-2. Why is he being left on the bench for a half-fit David McGoldrick? I do not know. I mean, things like that, decisions like that are inexcusable. I'm doing this straight after the game. I'm interested to listen to the post match from Maynard, but I'm just thinking to myself, where do we go now? Because we've got MK Dons, who at last check were beating Warsaw, who were playoff contenders 5-0. They come to Meadow Lane on Monday. Stuart Maynard isn't going before Monday. I'd be amazed if he's going before Monday. But if we lose again in that manner, with no performance, his position is completely untenable. There's no way he can remain in charge. And I hate to be like that because I will always want a manager to stay and give them the best chance possible. And I've even said multiple times on multiple videos in the past few weeks that there's no better option than keeping Maynard currently for me. I wouldn't have Jim O'Brien in charge. I wouldn't have Tom Wheel in charge. I wouldn't have João Alves in charge because what's the point with this close to the end of the season? But today, the way the players played, I don't think they were there. I don't think they were playing for him. And once they stop playing for him, then it becomes pointless to have him in charge because it's just going to be a downward spiral. Players, they have to be able to take criticism after today. They can't expect us to say today that there's any positives to take other than Jata. Really, I can't. And the players cannot be upset by criticism of their performances because look how poor it was. It's laughable. Those two goals are going to go viral again on social media, just like the Shrewsbury goals did. I think it was in December time. They're going to go viral again. I can guarantee that. Players have to take criticism as well. They have to, because performances are just lethargic, no movement, look like they were bored out there, look like they didn't believe what they were doing. Um, and for the first time now, I'm starting to be concerned that next season could just be a relegation battle. Um, I think it would be naive to think that these issues can be sorted in one transfer window unless it's a near perfect transfer window. I think the issues are so much bigger than we thought. If I'm thinking of players right now who I'd like to see starting next season in that starting 11, I mean, I've already posted one on Twitter from last week is Lewis McCarry, but I'm looking at that starting lineup today, and there's probably 4 out of the 11 take out players I think are going to get sold. There's probably 2 out of the 11 that I think we need. You can't have a turnover like that in one summer and expect to do big things. I think we're sleepwalking into massive issues next season. I mean, the owners, for me, do they need to pull the trigger? Because if we carry this on to the end of the season, maybe we win one more in our final 7 games or one more in our final 6 games, whatever it is, who's going to want to sign for us? There's a massive difference between finishing the season strongly and finishing 12th or 13th, or finishing the season poorly and finishing sort of 19th, 20th. And at the minute, we're going to be doing that. We're going to lose big players. I predict we're going to lose a couple of big players in Jody and Maka. There's not really any players showing much promise, bar 3 in the team for me. You can probably easily work out who those 3 are. We've got massive issues all over the pitch. We've got players coming back from injury, great, but we don't know what they're going to be like. We don't know whether Matty Palmer's going to be the same player he was. I'm hoping he is. We don't know anything about Badge, whether he's going to be the same. We don't know about Scott, so I don't really know any positives to say. Yeah, as I say, I'm interested to hear the post match. Interested to know your thoughts. I'm finding it almost impossible now to to not see a change in manager within the next 7 days, especially if we lose against MK Dons. I can't see any possible way, and I hate to say this, 'cause I never want to see people lose their job, and I can't see any way that it benefits us. And if anything, now it's the runs that poor, it's going to be hampering us going into the next season. And you've got to cut your losses before it does that. I would love to be sat here looking like a right idiot in 8 or 9 months' time, and he's turned it round at the end of this season, and we're flying under him. But I cannot see it currently. So you have to go on what you see right now. Um, and right now, I can't see a way back. I'd love to be proved wrong, but I can't see a way back. And I am very, very concerned, not only for the remainder of this season, but for next season now.